travel. I like to travel, but I don't got a plan. Catch me rolling through your city, yeah. Got my toes in the sand. I think I got some wanderlust, but I don't give a damn.
7-footers. Here we are. Back again. And we have a lot to get to. Melo's back in the league.
Oh, my God. Busy times in the association.
Exactly. How was your weekend, Jarod?
It was good. Let's see. I'm trying to think what actually happened. Not a whole lot.
Pushing out some good content.
Listen, you know what it's like out here in these streets. You got to grind, right? So a lot of good content. You know, I'm actually going to save a little. It's not really a rant. It's more of a. I'm going to save a soliloquy for the end.
Season 2, episode 41, and the vocabulary is still stellar, let me tell you, okay? All right, let's get into this here because we need to kick things off with a lot of new headlines. Okay, we have Paul George. Okay.
Carmelo Anthony.
Oh my gosh, how come it says Paul George where I'm at here?
I don't know. Where are you?
No, I got you. So no. Okay, Carmelo Anthony is going to make his NBA debut tonight after a year and a half.
Yeah.
In the off season, as we'll call it, purgatory there. Okay, he's going to make his debut in the starting lineup with Portland.
Playing the Pelicans tonight.
He's expected to play 20 minutes. We shall see.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna cede the floor to you because I know you're very excited about this. So
super passionate about this subject.
Talk to the people. Let them know.
Oh my gosh! Thank you for giving me the floor. No, for real. Melo is back, and I think it's super interesting because he released a video where he spoke all about his kind of journey and where he's been at in this time where he's had to reflect both mentally and physically, and he said it wasn't easy. And we have a ton of things that we need to get to with this, but in his own words, he said that this whole situation happened in about 48 hours. He got the call. He said he had to assess it mentally, physically, because he said during his time, a year and a half of just, training.
Right, being away.
Being away. He said training when you're not signed is very different than training when you are signed. Yeah. He said that he was tested mentally and physically, and he said that at one point he detached himself almost entirely from the game. And then once he got the call, he needed to, attach himself back in the game. So, I mean, at the end of the video, he did say, things have happened in the past. I'm not going to dwell on it, this and that. But he did say that he spoke to Portland and he said, this is my role. This is what I'm going to bring to you guys. And then at the end, he says, it's not going to work out if both parties don't agree. So, and we've seen, in years past, Dame and even CJ have said, we've tried to get Melo here. And he's either gone to OKC, he's gone to Houston, this and that. So now it's finally time. He said he's been talking to Dame on and off. I think it's going to click. I think the year and a half has humbled him.
That may be true.
I'm still worried about, his age. I'm a little bit worried about, his defense or lack thereof.
I mean, let's just be real about this.
I think he's going to bring a nice spark on the offense.
Melo ain't here to play no defense. Let's just be 100% clear about that, right? Can't play defense at this level.
Yeah.
I mean, he really was never like a lockdown defender, but he's even now worse than what he was then, right? Okay, so let's put that to the side.
Okay.
Let's talk about this first from the Trailblazers standpoint. They seem to be, if you ask me, in desperation mode right now, right?
It seems like they're hitting up, I don't want to say last resorts, but they're definitely, you didn't expect for Portland to need Melo and for Melo to need Portland.
Listen, you can call it what it is. This is last resorts, okay? And look, it was funny. I was at the Nets game last night, and I was asking Kenny about, the team's habits, and I said to him, Kenny, we always say like it's early, but at some point like it's not early anymore, right? No. And like real concern sets in, but the Nets are for a different day. So with Portland, like, are they making a rash decision? 5-9, right, through their first 14 games. Obviously below 500, currently out of the playoffs, but there's 82 games, so things can turn around, things can change
very fast.
But there are some concerns here right now, and that's why you make this Melo move. Now, it's a low rent, low stakes move for them because the contract is non-guaranteed. So if it doesn't work out,
a little over $2 million for
they can
1
just
year.
right. They can just move them and
really
or
much risk
let them
for
go.
them.
So not a lot of risk for them, but I do wonder what are they going to actually get. Look, if he can come off the bench, he's starting tonight, but because
He is starting tonight.
Jesus,
Bold moves in Portland.
Well, they have injury concerns, right?
Yeah.
Like Dame's out tonight.
Back spasms.
Right. Of course, Nurk's out until at least January, February. Who knows when he's coming back? I mean, they have Collins. They have some injuries that they're dealing with, right? So they have a hole at power forward right now, right? So they need someone.
They do need a power forward.
The question is, what can Melo do? What can Melo give them? And can he fit within the offense, right? Like, this isn't going to be Melo get the ball and pound it for 30 seconds. We're not doing that. No. Like, it's catch and shoot, my man, or move it. Like, that's it. Like, we're not hanging out and, like, letting you back down an ISO. That isn't the thing. And if he can, assimilate himself into what Portland wants, kudos. I do wonder what Portland is thinking, though, in terms of, because as we talk about all the time, or we talked about the last, few episodes and just about Portland in general, that run to the conference finals last year was a bit of fool's gold, right? Again, it just happened to be where they were seated. They, in my estimation, are not a true conference finals team.
No, they made it to the Western Conference Finals last year by the skin of their teeth.
And because
they
avoided playing Golden State or Houston in the semifinal round.
Now I think
that was the key. Golden State didn't even make the playoffs. That's how bad they are. But you know what I'm saying? That's how they got there. Yeah. And again, they had to do it by the skin of their teeth.
Exactly.
Right?
Thank you for using my phrasing.
Listen, no problem. So, but that I think got them all to think, yeah, we're like, I'm like, I don't know that you guys are that in your current state.
And not to mention, they've exhausted the power forward position with how many people have they tried there? Zach Collins.
Well, and again, Collins is hurt, so
everyone. I mean,
you got Whiteside. Look,
and Dame has been trying to play superhero, but that's not working. Clearly.
The question really is the Dame CJ led tandem the tandem to take you to championship contention?
It's not. You've already said this a million times. Like, we could end this conversation immediately.
Like that's what you're trying to figure out. And so, instead of getting Melo, like, why don't you move CJ maybe, see if you can bring in, I don't know, Kevin Love maybe. Like, I think he'd probably be a little more helpful. Like, there are a variety of different guys that could possibly help them out. But so let's put that to the side. Now, the Melo perspective. What I at least hope from his standpoint is he is allowed to exit the game more on his terms versus how it went last time, which was he got done raw on a raw deal, right? The way Houston was like, don't come to the arena because we're probably going to trade you.
He got screwed.
Then he got moved to Atlanta and and they bought him out, whatever. So if he can do things at his own, be able to leave gracefully and on his own terms, cool. But from a basketball perspective, I don't see this being a long-term fix for either.
Amen. That's why he's on that non-guaranteed 1-year deal. But do I think that this gives him another shot at completing the last chapter of his career instead of watching it whisk by him?
And that's what I'm saying. Can he do that so he can complete the last chapter and just go out the way he wants to instead of the other way?
In an ideal world, Melo is going to be a good fit there. And even if it doesn't work out, maybe he just retires after this, settles with Lala on an island.
Are they back together?
No. Yeah. It's really breaking my heart.
Yeah, I'm like,
it's really hard to work in entertainment and sports because I am so tied to both. But she did congratulate him on Instagram.
Which means she's not talking to him?
Well,
like
funny.
on telephone.
She sent him a note from his son on Instagram. So it was like, our son loves you, our son. Like, they got a good one. And I was like, ooh.
Yeah, that's a wrap. Moving on.
Alrighty then. Yeah, okay. We have a lot to get to here. So let's move on. Although I do wish Melo.
Oh, we wish Melo well.
The best of luck.
#stay Milu. It is now.
00.
Right? Because it's not me 7-0 anymore. It's #Milu.
I don't laugh too much, and we're only like a second into this. Okay, let's talk about Russell Westbrook here because I love that we are covering this because this is really interesting. Okay. All right. James Harden, we know he's one of the greatest scorers of, all time.
Yeah.
And he's already having a great season, even though it's early on. Westbrook brought up a really good point in the Rockets win over the Portland Trailblazers the other night.
Mm-hmm.
He basically said that we are, the public, the media, whoever, is normalizing Harden's greatness, okay? Let me just break this down for you just a little bit, okay?
Yep.
All right. Although his, shooting percentage dipped the other night, that he's still great. So it doesn't really matter. I mean, let's see. I mean, shooting, scoring have all improved from last season. Think about this. The Rockets have won their last 8 games with Harden scoring more than 35 points in each win, okay? He's averaging 39.2 points per game for 11 for 3 for the Rockets, okay? Record his 3rd triple-double of the season, 36 points against the Trailblazers, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. I mean, this is insane. Now, here's Westbrook's quote in the postgame. I think a lot of people like to normalize greatness when you see it over and over again, but it's not normal because there's nobody else that can do it. If it was normal, everyone else would do it. He put himself in a position to be one of the greatest offensive scorers of all time because of the way he's able to score the ball at a high level in a variety of ways. And then meanwhile, a humble Harden says in the postgame, I don't care about any of that. I'm just trying to win. So let's let Westbrook talk you up because this duo is working. But, I mean, these numbers are insane.
Yeah.
Actually insane.
I mean, he's averaging over 36 points per game. I mean, he's doing it all right now. He's second in the league in PER, leads the league in scoring by a wide margin.
Leads the league in scoring.
Look, we have never seen someone score at the volume, right? So in terms of as many points as he has, with the efficiency that he has, right?
Yeah.
Like last year, he was the first player in NBA history to average at least 35 points a game with a true shooting percent better than 60%. He was 61.6% true shooting last year. That's insane.
What about in the postgame?
Well,
or postseason,
listen, we'll get to that in my next comments. And so that's the thing about Harden. He's a polarizing guy, right? And it's because of his style of play. And we talk about it all the time. People hate the foul bailing, the baiting people into fouls and going to the free throw line. That drives a lot of fans nuts.
Yeah.
They don't like watching that. They don't like watching him pound the ball for 18 seconds, driving to the rim, throwing up the ball, get fouled, go to the free throw line. I always say it, you always say it. Then stop fouling them. Like I really don't know what to tell you. Don't stick your hand out there. Like, right? Like, I mean,
it's not gonna work.
Right? I don't know. But the man is a true artist when it comes to the offensive side of the game and scoring the basketball.
And you know what makes me so annoyed too sometimes? Like, I'm not a hater, but like he just makes it look so goddamn easy. With that left hand and the step back and the fade away, and now he's got the one-legged three. Now he's got a third leg. But yeah, I mean it's insanity.
And look, I understand because so that part of his game, right, the foul calls, which by the way, going to the free throw line, which his free throw attempts are up this year from last year, which is insane, right?
Yeah,
they're up another four per game over last year, which is crazy. Hey, free points. I'm in. Like,
why not? Just for free, it's for me.
Exactly. And the other part which makes people not like him is he is yet to maintain that level of play in the regular season into the postseason. Now, the idea that he's a postseason choker, I think, is a bit overstated. However, he has been the favored team a few times now against the eventual would-be champ or the Western Conference finalist with a game at home to clinch it, and he has been unable to do that, right? When 2 years ago they had the Kevin Durant-led Golden State Warriors down a game, and he was terrible in Game 7.
Are we talking about the game where the Rockets missed 27 threes?
Yes.
That one
terrible.
I still have PTSD from?
Terrible. Okay. Last year, Durant out. They got a shot. Hey, nothing, right? So
no dice.
Those criticisms of him are fair. Though if you look at the numbers, right, like it's not terribly off.
No.
So anyway, that's the first thing on that. That's the second thing. And that's his whole, is he a choker? Is he that? Is he that?
Yeah.
Look, again, straight up regular season, the volume and the true shooting. We have never seen anyone do it. James Harden could end his career. Ready? Ready for this.
Why do you do this to me?
He could finish his career just from a pure offensive production standpoint, as the second greatest shooting guard of all time. No worse than top 3. Right?
That's fair. That's extremely fair.
And the top 3 shooting guards of all time right now are obviously Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, who we'll get to later, and Dwayne Wade. Right? Those are the dudes. So he has a chance to eclipse Wade, and he has a chance to, from a production standpoint, to eclipse Kobe. So we'll see. Now, he has a lot to do to eclipse them from an overall standpoint, namely win some rings, right? Like, he's already got an MVP, which Dwayne Wade doesn't have, right? But Dwayne Wade's got championship rings and a Finals MVP, which which James Harden does not have, right? So there's that, right? So he's got a long way to go in terms of the accolades and the rings culture, right? But
you are right on point.
But in terms of offensive production, he is that dude, right?
No, I completely agree. I mean, right now in the regular season, he is that dude. He's breaking records, improving at rapid speed. And it's going to come down, and you're always going to have the people that are always going to come back and say, the postseason, he chokes, that's when it matters, this and that. We'll circle back to that one in April and see what's up.
See where he's at. Yep. Rockets playing well right now, though, 11-3.
Hey. And maybe it's because PJ Tucker is reportedly close to a season.
He is going to get his new Nike deal signed.
As he should.
In a couple days here.
As he should.
Shout outs to CNBC's Jabari Young for breaking that story.
Nice. So let's move on here. Paul George and the Clippers playing well without Kawhi Leonard, dare I say it. The Clips are 9-5. Okay, we have PG. He scored 70 points in 44 minutes in his first 2 games. Now, let me break this down for you a little bit here. Okay, we still have Kawhi out with, as we know, a left knee contusion. He's been sitting out, 3-4 games now we're going on?
Missed the last 3.
But let's talk about Paul George because he's back from the offseason, surgery on both shoulders.
Looks good.
And he looks really, really good. Now, he addressed the long-standing narrative that he is not clutch.
Playoff P?
Hey, he addressed it, though.
He's clutch right now in November.
That's right. He secured the win for the Clips
against OKC.
With a nice 3 off a catch and shoot with 25 seconds left against OKC at home at Staples Center. And in the postgame, here is what he said about the narrative that he's not clutch. There is a big thing about how I can't make it to win games. That stuff doesn't bother me. I'm out here to play hard and win games. I feel confident in every shot that I take. It's up to me to make it or miss it. That type of stuff doesn't bother me. What I'm saying is, bottom line, Paul George is delivering, especially without Kawhi Leonard, and the Clippers look great.
Yeah.
And why rush Kawhi back?
Well, yes, why rush Kawhi back? Because, again, this team is about the postseason and a championship. That is their goal. They could care less about how many regular season wins they have, which we'll get to in my What's Up With. Little tease there for you folks. They are a very interesting squad. And, look, the knock or the criticism against PG-13 has been fair over his career, right, in terms of hitting clutch shots when it matters the most. But what I thought was interesting is what he said, right? Every elite player in this league says the same thing. When they get to their spot on the floor, if they make or miss the shot, if they miss it, it has nothing to do with the defense. It's on them, right? Because they got to their spot, right? That's the whole idea we talk about make or miss league. That's essentially what it's about, right? When you miss, it isn't really so much the defense. It's me. I missed the shot.
Yeah.
But it's basketball. You ain't going to hit 100% of your shots because that's just not realistic, right? Like, it doesn't work that way.
No.
Sometimes you hit, sometimes you don't. So this idea of clutch is also sort of like a weird, false narrative that we kind of throw out there. Because the idea is if you're willing to take the shot and then you miss it and you got to your spot, it isn't that you choked, you just missed, right? What I consider choking or failing is not wanting the ball in the clutch or running away from it or shying away, right? That is not stepping up in the clutch because you don't want the pressure. If they're taking it, they're obviously not afraid.
Exactly.
It's just missed.
Just gonna say, you're not afraid.
Sometimes you miss. That's just how it goes.
It is what it is.
Right. So, that's the one thing to the side. I think the Clippers are playing extremely well right now. I think they are more than anything, they are a postseason team more than they are a regular season team. I want to give you some numbers really quick.
I agree with that.
LA Clipper numbers, lineups with Kawhi in the lineup, defensive numbers.
Okay.
They are a 96.1 defensive rating. That is absurdly good. And they are a plus 13 in point differential when Kawhi's on the floor. Okay. When Paul George is on the floor. Now, mind you, we know Kawhi is off the floor because Kawhi and Paul George have not played yet together this year. When Paul George is on the floor. Granted, small sample size. 95.7 defensive rating plus 19.9 in point differential per 100 possessions. Yo.
Defensive nightmare at its finest.
Listen, again, between Kawhi, PG, and Pat Bev.
Yeah.
Just those three guys alone because those are their three defenders.
I wouldn't even play.
They are going to be such a problem come postseason because you don't got to worry about switching because you can just say, hey, Paul, go lock up the other team's best wing.
All right.
Imagine a series against the Lakers, right? And LeBron's got to deal with Paul George sometimes. Then he might get Kawhi sometimes. It's like, he might be like, God damn.
That's when we're going to talk about load management.
Two of these MFers? Really? I got both of them? And then I got annoying-ass Pat Beverly, too?
Well, according to Russell Westbrook, he doesn't play good D. He just runs around.
Listen, and
hey,
we know
I'm
what
just
that's
a messenger.
we know what that's from. Russ and Pat have history because, Pat ran into Russ that time and Russ had to get knee surgery after. And
yeah.
Everyone knows Pat Beverly plays defense, right? And he's often one to tell you, first team all defense, whenever he makes a steal or any kind of great play, right? But those three guys on the perimeter, holy smokes. And honestly, again, I think regular season-wise, we're not even going to see a lot of great numbers and things from this team when Kawhi does eventually get back into the lineup and you put him on there. But let me tell you folks something. Come playoff time with those two, listen.
You don't want none of that smoke.
Which is why, in our preseason predictions, I picked the Clippers to go to the NBA Finals and win it because I'm like, listen, everyone loves to say, oh, they don't play defense nowadays in the NBA. I don't know what you people are talking about. You need to watch some basketball, all right? Like, they play defense. And those guys and that Clippers team defensively, nightmare.
Complete nightmare, and we love to see it.
You do. We do.
Certain people love to hate it. Let's move on here to something else that we love to see. A young 20-year-old Luka Doncic. The show that he is putting on in the NBA right now. He's shattering records that we haven't seen shattered since a young LBJ did so at the age of 21. Now Luka is 20, so he's pretty much ahead of LBJ at his time right now. All right. Yeah. Got a career-high triple-double the other night, 42, 11, and 12, and the Mavs win 117-110 over the Spurs. Okay, LeBron James, like we said, is the only other player to put up a 40-point triple-double before the age of 21. Luka still has, 6 triple-doubles this season, leads the league in that. Look at these stats here. No player 20 or younger has averaged more points than Luka. No player 20 or younger has averaged more assists than Luka. The only 3 players 20 or younger to average more rebounds than Luka are Shaquille O'Neal, Andre Drummond, and Dwight Howard.
Bigs. I mean, Luka's not small. I mean, he's big. He's just not
big.
Like
your typical Dwight Howard
he's
big
not,
man.
He's not
top 10.
a big. He's not a center.
Yeah.
But Luka is big, right? He's 6'8", 6'9", whatever he is.
He's averaging 29.5 points, 10.7 rebounds, 9.3 assists. I mean, it's insane. I just don't understand. I can't believe I'm saying what I'm about to say, but the Mavs are looking like a playoff team at the moment. For
sure. Again, early, only 13 games, but listen, they're playing well. Also, we talked about this during the draft 2 years ago when Luka came out, right? And I said from the beginning, besides, my guy, Triple J, besides Jaren Jackson Jr., this is my guy, right? And I was like,
you did.
Luka, well, because he won the MVP of the Eurobasket when he was 17 years old.
17, man.
The Eurobasket is a professional basketball league. After a professional basketball tournament of the EuroLeague. The EuroLeague is the second best league in the world behind the NBA. Well, if he was playing that well in that league as a teenager, why do we think he wouldn't play well in the NBA?
Oh, my God. I can't. It's insane. It is insane, though. I mean, I didn't expect this kind of show.
His feel for the game and his passing and his court sense and awareness is next level. It is like, I'm not saying he's as good, but it's LeBron James-esque, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, the thing about LeBron that doesn't get a lot of credit, I mean, of course, he's a physical specimen. We all know that. But this man understands the game literally from every single angle, right?
It's scary.
And Luka is like that. Not quite at that PhD level as LeBron is, but like he is like that, right? So he sees angles. He knows. Now, obviously, what separates LeBron is he's a superior athlete to Luka, right? And that's what makes him arguably, it could be the greatest player of all time, right? Luka's got to work better on getting his body in shape, and he's still never going to be the plus athlete LeBron is, but Luka still has more room to improve if he gets into better physical shape. I mean, he's only 20, right? Like,
20.
This is what I'm saying. And that the Mavericks, hell of a move, right, to get him from the Hawks. Now, look, the Hawks aren't complaining. They got Trae Young, but listen.
I mean, can you believe, though, there were teams that passed this man up?
Hello, Sacramento. Hello, Phoenix. Look,
Wow.
I always say it. I love shooting. I love guys who have, but what do I always say? Size still matters in this game.
You always do say that.
The rim is still 10 feet above the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So it matters if you're tall. Like, I don't know what to tell you, right? Like, being tall still matters. And being tall and also good makes the game that much easier for you, right? One of the things I love to do when people love to argue that point with me is I say, I don't care who your top 5 is of all time. Doesn't matter. You will be hard-pressed to find anyone's top 5 of all time that has a single player under 6'6". It's
fair.
You just don't. Why? Because kind of helps being big. You can get to the rim easier. I don't know what to tell you. They can't deny you the ball. I don't know.
Facts. So, answer this one. Is Luka a top 10 player?
I think there are 20 guys in the top 10. No. Look, I will say this. Through the first 13 games of the season, Luka is playing like a top 10 player in the league.
Is he looking like an all-star?
For sure. Right now.
Okay.
Right now he is. Right now he is.
How surprised are we with the Mavericks?
Remember we said when we were doing our
lost
preview
to the Knicks the other night. I'm sorry.
Well, listen.
I was there.
They had a little bit of, Kristaps venom and all that, and
Luka did say in the post game that got to him.
Of course, sure it did.
And then when Kristaps almost went to the wrong locker room. Oh, poor guy.
Poor guy. By the way, I'm a little concerned about Kristaps. Like, hasn't really broken out to start the season. Now, granted, he's coming off a major injury, but he sat out all of last year. So
and he looks like Ivan Drago from Rocky. So it's fair that he should show some strength.
I anticipated him to be a little bit better, but maybe he's just still working out the rust and the kinks. But look, if he can approximate and get himself back to where he was like a couple years ago with the Knicks, with what Luka's doing, and Dorian Finney-Smith and all those guys they have over there,
they have some
Hardaway,
nice pieces.
They got pieces, man.
Seth Curry, Justin Jackson.
I like them
Jalen
a
Brunson.
lot. Listen,
Sleeper team.
We talked about them. Definitely league pass team for sure. And I was like, playoffs, like, the West is so tough, but they might hang in it. Listen, again, early, but through 13, they're there.
They're a sleeper team, but they are contending. I'm actually surprised. I can't believe I'm saying this, but they are contending at this moment.
Right now.
But
We'll see.
if Luka keeps playing the way he does, it's
Listen,
problematic.
Basketball is the one sport where, the rising tide lifts all ships, right? So if Luka is that rising tide.
metaphors, I'm like,
if Luka is that rising tide, right? So in essence, one guy can make that much of a difference and lift and carry a team. Basketball is that one sport.
you're a product of your environment too. So,
Carlisle's a good coach. They got a good system over there. So look, I liking what I'm seeing over there.
they're getting 20-point games from Tim Hardaway Jr., who unfortunately isn't consistent, but, Delon Wright, Seth Curry, Dwight Powell, they got a good crew.
I like what I see over there.
Me and you both. All right, it's time.
America's #1 segment.
Yes. What's up with? Now, I was going back and forth with mine.
Yeah, okay.
But I'm going to let you kick this one off because I want to see what you're leading us with. Because you dropped me a teaser before, and I'm, super ready for it. So let's start things off.
Well, why do you think my what's up with is?
Well, you said you teased. What did you tease for? The clips? no?
It was, but it was more about. It's a long roundabout way. But anyway, I'll start.
Okay, let's hear it.
What's up with the NBA and its ratings?
Oh my God, you just pulled that one really, really out of the bag.
Shocked you with that one. So
do tell.
TNT, ESPN, ABC, right? And ABC comes second half of the season. Those are the NBA's broadcast partners, right?
Mm-hmm.
TNT averaged, and this is according to Sports Media Watch, 8.6 rating and 909,000 viewers for the Mavericks-Knicks game last week. That was the lead-in game because, TNT does a doubleheader. That was the first game.
Yeah.
The second game, the rating dropped to 0.49, and the number of viewers dropped to 766,000, and that was for Nets and Nuggets, making it TNT's sixth straight NBA game with fewer than 1 million viewers. Including the ESPN 9 games that they've had, they've failed to crack 9 viewers this season, right? Last year, only 19 times did they fail to crack the 1 million, have less than 1 million viewers. We've already got 9, and we're only 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks into the season. I'm a little concerned about that. And I was thinking about it in relation to the Nets last night. Indiana was in town, and it's Indiana, so I understand that. But, Jenna, there were hundreds of empty seats in the lower bowl, hundreds in the upper bowl. And it's tough to really understand, and it's a little bit sad too, right? Because we love the NBA so much. We think it's the best league. We think it's the best sport. And the social media engagement tells us as much.
Yeah.
But that doesn't seem to be equating to what the television numbers are telling us.
Why do you think?
Well, look.
Do you think this is still fallout from
China?
No. Anything along those lines?
Look.
And not to mention, is this going back to the stars sitting?
Okay, so that's part of it from a TV perspective.
Okay.
From a going to the game perspective, you don't know when you buy tickets 2 weeks in advance if someone's sitting out or not. You just buy tickets, right? How do you know?
Thinking.
I will say this. So what we do is we compare a lot, right? And one of the things that you're comparing it to
teaser for mine
is football, right?
Ugh.
Well, but football has a lot of inherent advantages, and football being the NFL.
True.
There are only 16 games that each team plays. So let's say you follow the Giants, the Jets, the Packers. It doesn't matter. Who cares? If all you wanted to do was watch your one team, all you had to do was commit to 1 day a week for 4 hours. That's it. Once. Whether it be a Sunday, a Thursday, or a Monday. Mm-hmm. One time. You follow an NBA team, you might have to commit to 3 games a week, maybe 4. It's a lot. For people not like us who love the NBA.
Yeah. I mean, maybe
for the casual fan.
Maybe it's early because of the NFL season and people aren't as focused. I mean, I've had a ton of my friends, like when I cover, even when I do the podcast, when I cover games, when I go to games, a ton of my friends will text or say, I don't care about the NBA season until the NFL season's over. I don't care about the NBA season until it's February.
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying that's for everyone, but I'm hoping that's just like beginning of the season.
I think what you just touched on is a situation the league has to worry about, which is the regular season's long. 82 games is a long time, and it's in an era where you are competing for mind share, right? Because that's what the NBA is doing, and not with us. We're diehards. They don't care. When I say they don't care about us, they already know we're tuning in.
Yeah.
They are like everybody else trying to capture the casual fan.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how are you going to capture the casual fan when, in essence, right, you're kind of saying, the regular season kind of doesn't matter because tune in come January, February, All-Star break, see what's happening then, 82 games. I mean, half the league's teams make the playoffs, more than half. There's 30 teams, 16 of them make the playoffs.
It's crazy.
I mean, right? And so my contention with all this, and look, part of it is the load management, right? People get upset about that.
Yeah.
But that's going to happen. I think Adam's a smart commissioner, and I think that he could do some things. And I think change could be coming and be on the way. Because I don't know, because I know for a fact that the league, this is talked about in the league office. They are concerned about this. Sources say.
The amount of games?
Whether it be trying to figure out a way to either increase interest in the regular season through some kind of midseason tournament or something. Mm-hmm. Now, that's just adding more games, so I don't really know how that solves the problem, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a situation where you eliminate, and this has been bandied about before, you get rid of the conference and the divisional alignments, right? So in essence, what you do is the top 16 teams, regardless of what division or conference they're in, they make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I don't care if you're the number one seed in the Southwest Division. If you're not one of the 16 best teams, you're not making the playoffs.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I like that. If that were to be a change, I would like that. But I don't want to see less games. Again,
for us, we are fine, and we stay up on League Pass, and we do all our stuff. It doesn't hurt us. Yeah. Again, this is about the casual fan, and I just wonder also, too, the social media aspect of it, right? The memes, the funny jokes, the gifts, the all drip, the cozy fam, this. And listen, I love all that too, but I feel like sometimes we focus so much on that and like who can get traded and who's going where and what versus like the actual game on the floor, which is really good. Mm-hmm. Like when everybody was going nuts about Kawhi sitting out the front half of that back-to-back, I was like, but that was a really good game on ESPN. But we didn't talk about it because all everybody wanted to talk about was load management.
Of course.
Right?
Took over the world.
And so that's just something that, what's up with that? That's got me right.
I agree. I think that's a great one that you brought up. I could see change coming. I really can. So we shall see. We shall. This is one that I felt strongly about.
Go with it.
In the short, what's up with comparisons? I only say this because first it started with the Zion and LeBron.
Right.
And now Luka goes off one game
right.
and he's a baby LeBron. And I hate to call my guy out, but Perk, that's who I saw said it.
Oh, Perk.
Kendrick Perkins, that's who I saw said it. And that I just, sorry.
It got you fired up.
It got me fired up because it's, especially with these young players, again, we talk about the mental aspect, and you're constantly being compared to someone.
Well,
it's never your own game.
What do we always say when we text? And it's not my saying, but it's a true statement.
Comparison
is the thief of joy.
Yes, it is.
Right?
Like, yes, it is. And I'm still guilty of it. I mean, it's hard not to.
But we all do it. It's a human thing because part of it is the way our brains work, right?
Yes.
As complex, in quotes, as the human brain is, it's actually quite simple. In the sense that we have to be able to categorize things in our brain.
Yes.
So when we see it, we can immediately spout off, right?
Yeah.
Table, chair, like that. We have to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. So it's like, oh, this is just like this. Instead of saying, how about we just enjoy Luka for what Luka is?
Exactly. Right? And I'm saying
and we'll see whatever he ultimately becomes.
Exactly. It's almost as if
and I'm guilty of it myself because what did I do the segment before? I said he's LeBron-esque in his right? But that's how you are able to articulate things, right? Like
it's just the way people do it though. Like you said, he reminds you of him, whatever. But there are certain people that are saying like he's the mini LeBron or
right.
he's the next.
Yeah, no I don't like terms like that.
The next. This is why we constantly sit here.
He's
and have
the first Luka Doncic.
The LeBron James, Michael Jordan debate.
Right.
Like they're not the same person.
Right.
So I say that because you do it with these young players, and you're comparing him to what, 35-year-old man?
Right. Yeah.
He just stopped growing like a minute ago. Okay, so that's all I have to say. And what I mean by what's up with comparisons, I mean squash that shit.
All right, you listen. You heard
that's it.
Perk, you heard what she said.
He's gonna be like, oh crap.
What's up with the Sacramento Kings?
We have the same one.
Well, so they started out like, a little rough to start the season.
5-7.
I mean, they're 5-7, but they're playing a little bit differently. Now, no De'Aaron Fox. So that has limited their pace and slowed them down quite a bit.
Yeah. His speed is so important.
Right. They don't have Marvin Bagley as well.
Yeah.
But they got Buddy Hield, right? They got Bogdanovich. They got Harrison Barnes. They're doing some things. They had a nice win against Boston the other night. It's interesting that they've switched their style based on necessity and the injuries. I still don't know if Luke Walton's a good coach or not. My lean is not really. just based on what I've seen.
Oh my goodness.
But I find them a fascinating team because there's a collection of talent on there. Harry Giles, we haven't even talked about yet. And I'm just not sure that all the pieces fit. And, of course, De'Aaron Fox being hurt and Bagley being out, that hurts them because that's a young team on the rise, or theoretically on the rise, that should be.
Yeah.
And those are the cornerstones that you want to build off of. And not quite.
That was one of mine, too. So going off of that, I was more leaning towards the De'Aaron Fox side.
Yeah.
What's up with De'Aaron Fox? This is the first injury of his career.
Yeah.
There was video that came out of him shooting from a chair. He's not even walking freely in his home yet. He's not going to be reevaluated for 3 to 4 weeks. It's a pretty serious level ankle sprain, I would say.
Yeah, and those ankle sprains are, they're tricky. You don't want to rush back from them.
Exactly. Look what happened to Smart.
Right.
Celtics rolled it again, same ankle. But yeah, like you said, I like watching the Kings. They're an interesting team on the rise, we hope. But even Marvin Bagley, where's my guy? The third.
Marvin Bagley,
where is the third?
It's interesting. And they're another one. They didn't draft Luka Doncic. They took Bagley instead. Okay. I'm sure you'd like to have Luka right now, though, instead of Marvin Bagley. Just gonna say.
I will not go against.
I know Marvin's your guy. Look, and I have no beef with Marvin. I just listen.
Hey, we're gonna have to wait and see what happens with these Kings.
I have such higher hopes for them than what they are showing. And look, and injuries are part of it, but I'm disappointed in what the Kings are. That win against Boston Sunday night, notwithstanding. Nice win for them.
Hey, okay. Credit where credit's due.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to laugh.
Okay.
What is up with the Phoenix Suns? They are playing well.
Well, as you know,
7-5.
they were what's up with last week.
They were also with the Kings, one of the original dumpster fires.
I know. I couldn't call them a dumpster fire last week. They were not.
You could not.
They were not. They were not.
They are playing very well. What do we think?
As I said last week, kudos
7-5.
Kudos to Monty Williams for infusing that team with a work ethic and a different sort of mentality. I have my issues with Ricky Rubio, but what he's done is he's allowed Devin Booker to play off ball more. Booker shooting less threes, but shooting them at a higher clip, shooting 50% from three, which is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. He's also passing more and initiating offense as well. Look, they're getting production from Aaron Baines. They're doing all this with Ayton out because of the suspension. So, look, I like what I see. Do I think this is sustainable and long term? Probably not. But listen, give them their props. Kudos.
That's all I'm saying. I had to.
Good job. Early going. Good job.
I had to.
All right, my last what's up? What's up with the trend moving back to two bigs in the NBA? So, we used to do this. Well, everything was small ball, right? You want guys who can shoot it, space the floor, small guys that way, shooting. And
okay.
Shooting's still paramount.
Yeah.
We still want that. But guess what? League average from three is only 34, 35%, somewhere around there, 33, 30,
But we're also relying too much on our big men.
So my point is, if you got a bunch of small people who can shoot, when they're missing, 7 of every, or let's be generous. Let's say you have a great night shooting, you're 40% from three.
Yeah.
Who's grabbing the rebounds of those 6 of 10 misses? Right? Like,
exactly.
The 4 that are going in, cool. The 6 that miss, who's getting the rebound?
I like it though.
Little guys ain't.
Yep.
Right? So I'm loving what Indiana, Philly, the Lakers, the Kings, they've all gone back to a bigger power forward.
Yep.
Right? Instead of that stretch for, he may be able to shoot a 3, but he can still play close to the basket, right, with size and a traditional center.
And you're giving your big men a break, number one. And number two, they're getting pounded down there in the paint. You might as well.
So, look, my thing is with the two bigs is that it's going to help you rebound. Look at what the Lakers are doing right now when they put Anthony Davis and JaVale McGee on the floor, right? Like, they're grabbing every single rebound. They're just gobbling it up. So, cool if you can shoot well, but, again, even if you make 40% of your threes, you're still missing some. And if you're not getting the rebound, right, or if you're having a bad shooting night, hey, we're cleaning the glass, baby. Or offensively, when you have the ball, you're grabbing all the offensive rebounds if the team is small.
Jarod.
Listen, the highest percentage shots are still the ones closest to the rim.
Simple facts.
Yes. 3 greater than 2. I understand that math. Yes. However, higher percentage is a shot at the rim. Right? Okay. That's all.
You know what? I'm going to say you won What's Up With.
Well, we don't really keep score.
No,
What's
but
up
like
with.
I am like blown away. You know what? I did make an extra note too. It's quiet in Boston, although the Celtics seem to have found their rhythm.
Listen, I said it last week on the pod solo because you were MIA. No, I'm just kidding. You were on. You're on assignment. Listen, you know I've got my Brad takes, but he's doing a good job. Kemba seems to be a good fit for this squad. And look, they're playing well. We shall see. They may end up winning 60 games, be the number 1 seed. Who knows? Cool. Talk to me April, May. We'll see how that all translates.
Feisty, Jarod. I love it.
Just putting it out there.
No, I like how you keep the Celtics on their toes.
Listen, it's just
somebody has to.
My thing is just it was the overabundance of praise for Brad and not getting any responsibility or culpability for what went down last season. That's all.
He needed to humble himself.
That's all.
He came
That's all
back
I'm
down.
saying.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the rumor mill. Shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Rumors in San Antonio that DeMar DeRozan and LaMarcus Aldridge are on the trading block, potentially. Let's not get crazy. It's just reports. But according to Kevin O'Connor of The Ringer, reported Wednesday that it, quote unquote, would not surprise none of the front office executives if, they opted to move DeRozan. The Magic have reportedly sought interest in the 4-time All-Star. We shall see. I mean, let's also mention that DeRozan can utilize a player option on his 5-year, $139 million contract to become an unrestricted free agent following this season. But I mean, it's all rumors and reports right now. But I mean, I will say as a last note, as many good pieces in, Patty Mills, Rudy Gay, everybody that the Spurs have and the coaching staff that they have in, Pop and Tim Duncan.
Right, and Becky Hammond.
They're not, and Becky Hammond, they're not playing up to par. Do I think that they can contend for a championship right now after what we've seen? No. Do I think that they can contend in the Western Conference? Yes, but not well. I mean, DeJounte Murray's showing out in his return, but I mean, would it be better suited if they traded DeMar or LaMarcus?
Well, the question is, what are the Spurs trying to do right now, right? I mean, they're 5-9. Do they want to continue being that team that right now just squeaks its way into the playoffs, an 8-7 seed, and then they go from there? Right now, I mean, again, it's early, but they're not a playoff team right now, below 500, as we said. Or do they want to actually do a full-on tear-down and rebuild, which we know Pop will not stick around for because that's just, he's already done he's won his 5 titles. He's good.
Pop's chilling.
Right? So, and this may be his last year. I don't think he's confirmed it yet. Who knows?
Yeah.
But that is sort of what Peter Holt, or the Holt family, and R.C. Buford have to figure out. What are we doing as an organization? Are we going to just keep trying to get to that 40-something win, scratch it out, or are we gonna let's tear down, let's rebuild through the draft, because again, San Antonio is not a free agent destination place. They're not going to be able to really wrangle big time free agents to come sign and stay there.
No.
So they're gonna have to develop their homegrown talent and see what they can get for a guy like DeRozan and Aldridge. And think about it. If the salaries match up, you have to figure that stuff out. They can get some picks maybe back in return, some young talent. Maybe an Eastern Conference team that's like, man, we need just that one guy, to get us into the playoff hunt. DeRozan or Aldridge can be that guy.
Mm-hmm. No, I completely agree with you there. And the thing is, if you think about it in simple terms, right? We just talked about the Mavericks and the pieces that they have. And now we just talked about the Spurs and the pieces that they have. On paper, I'd be like, wow, Spurs 100% better. But
You would think, really?
But look what's happening.
Wait, you would think that? I wouldn't. Because Luka and Kristaps, to me, are better than any two people that the
But from what
Spurs
you've seen
have.
so far, besides Luka,
Right.
Right. I don't see anything too impressive out of
Kristaps?
The Mavericks as a whole.
As a whole?
Are they playing great right now? Yes, but I'm saying in a huge vacuum.
Right.
If I were to look at the roster on the Spurs, I'd be like, oh wow, LaMarcus Aldridge,
DeMar DeRozan,
DeJounte Murray,
right.
DeMar DeRozan,
Okay.
Rudy Gay,
Okay.
Patty Mills. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
I think I would
more
pick-
names. Yeah.
I think I would pick that team above this. And now when I look at the stats and I'm watching what I'm watching so far, Mavericks obviously take it.
Well, for me, I take the Mavericks because Luka, I think, just tips it. I think he's better than not only is he better than anybody on the Spurs. His upside is way. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like that lifts so much. But I hear what you're saying. Look, I just wonder again what's their plan. What do the Spurs want to do?
Exactly.
Do
What
they
is
want
your plan B?
Do they want to rebuild and figure that out and look and see if you can move some guys? Because look, DeRozan and Aldridge could help some teams, right? Like so.
Yeah.
We shall see. Again, salaries got to match and all that.
Exactly. Some quick notes here.
Oh, we got one that's this is your jam. I know you can't wait to get into this.
Oh, this made me so happy when I saw this on the outline today when we were preparing for this. And I love how you named it Kobe, the friendly legend. Kobe sits front row on the floor, Staples Center the other night. He is hugging people, kissing babies, shaking hands. The man looks great. He was with his daughter, Gigi, who was a star in her own. I mean, Kevin Hart wanted a selfie, so, there's that. I mean, then again, she's crossing up doing fadeaways like him, so running the triangle offense, just saying. Anyway, but oh my gosh, Kobe is just so loved. Standing ovation as he left the floor. And can we say how, he's shaking hands with LeBron James coming off the court?
Oh, yeah.
And in the postgame, LeBron James says, I'm just, trying to put on a show for Kobe. Make him proud. Oh, Jarod, my heart.
Vomit.
If there is anybody with the Mamba mentality in this room, it is your girl.
I mean, I was throwing up in my mouth when I saw all that. Listen. The cult of Kobe is among the most fascinating things I have ever seen. Like, the devotion to this man and his propaganda is out of control. And that's what it is. It's propaganda. Notice, people, I put the friendly in quotation marks. Listen, Kobe somehow convinced all of you people that he is some bastion of goodness and I want to support all these guys in the league and blah, blah. Listen, that's not who Kobe is. Kobe was never that dude. Never.
Because he was too busy playing ball.
Here we go with the Mamba mentality nonsense.
He is using his knowledge of the game now to educate our youth.
Listen, all I'm going to say, my thoughts on Kobe have been well documented. You know what we got to do? We got to do like a special Kobe pod.
I want to do, along with that, I want to create a funny reel of everything you've ever said about Kobe. This, that, blah, 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 the Mamba mentality, and just plays on loop.
All that. Listen, I as you all know, I don't subscribe to the Mamba mentality. Like, listen, I think Kobe's one of the great all-time players in the history of this league. Somewhere in the top 10. It's funny. And a little tease for you guys. I was having a conversation with NBA legends Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, and we were talking about something. And I was like, my God, you guys love Kobe so much.
Them specifically?
Yeah. And Stack said to me, if he busted your ass as much as he busted ours, you love him too.
Hey.
And I had to chuckle at that. But, teaser for you guys, some content coming out around Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson. Look, Kobe's great. I just think the myth of Kobe and the proliferation of his legend and propaganda, that to me is where I'm like, listen, man, you got people actually thinking this guy is in the GOAT conversation, which for the last time, he is not. Just not.
I wouldn't put him in the GOAT conversation, but I...
Thank you, because he's not.
He could be my 5th out of top 5.
Fine. I will give you that. Only because you host this show with me,
Aw, thanks.
right? Because he ain't that, but I'll give you guys that. But anyway, guys, as we wrap, you know where to find us. Instagram, at 7footers Podcast, at Jenna Lemoncelli, at JS Hector, Twitter, Instagram, all that. Thank you guys. Rate, review, listen, download, subscribe. You know all the things. Shout out to our good friends up at CLNS Media, where you can find our podcast. This will be our last show before the Thanksgiving holiday. So we hope everyone has a safe, happy, healthy Thanksgiving. Spend some time with family if you are celebrating and enjoying all that. And I'd like to give some thanks. First, to Jenna for being a good host on this show with me. And also, I'm just very thankful that I get to do what I enjoy doing on a daily basis, right? Which is talking to athletes, creating content around sports and entertainment. You know, we're lucky. We're privileged to get to do this. Not many people get to what their work is what their passion is, right? That's not what a lot of people get to do. And we're fortunate in that, and we don't take that for granted. So I'm in appreciation of that, and I'm very appreciative for that. And thank you all for your support and listening and checking out the 7-footers in our work.
Amen. And adding to that, Jarod, I am truly grateful for you. Not only do you have the most vast knowledge of, I'm not joking, not only do you have the most vast knowledge of this sport particularly, but the different takes you have on it from every angle are truly fascinating.
Well, I appreciate that.
They really are.
Your
Your intelligence does blow me away.
Well, thank you very much.
And I'm just grateful that you're on this journey with me. We are, what, 2 years now?
2 years.
And, it does mean a lot. Think about it. We take the time to meet weekly, and we do this, and
break it
we've
down.
Kept it up for 2 years, and we've repeated it on this podcast before, but we met at the NBA
store
randomly
when they were unveiling the new Nike Connected jerseys.
Yeah, and we were just like, you know what? Let's do something.
Let's do a podcast. We like basketball.
So, I'm grateful for you.
Kudos.
Yes. Thanks, guys. Tell us what you're grateful for.
Later.
Peace.
Spent a couple years out here with these raps, trying to have a plan that we made come true. Applied to some jobs, but I ain't hit back. I don't want to trap, what's a man gonna do? Chevy told me come through to the spot. Got a little kickback, bring the whole crew. Right around 10, came dressed in the nines. You already know what we really finna do when we pull up on the scene. Pull up on the scene, pull up on the scene. Yeah, we pull up on the scene. See, my life is a movie. Pull up on the scene, did it so smoothly. Pull up on the scene. Mario Kart when I'm out on the road. Only out for peaches and getting that cream. Cash rules, everything except me, nigga. And I like to think that you know what that means. Deep as the ocean with all these flows.